Okay, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. We got to talk about it. Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua seems to be a hot topic amongst the boxing fans, UK boxing fans it is, currently right now at the moment as we speak. The heavyweight division's hotting up at the moment. We've seen loads of fights, loads of big fights, competitive fights, and these guys have been mixing it up. And I do believe now this era is not going to waste as we thought it was a couple of years ago. Right? So we've seen the demise of Deontay Wilder. We've seen Tyson Fury lose. We've seen Alexander Usyk be crowned undisputed, right? And we've also seen Daniel Dubois on a resurgence. So this is what I want to talk about basically. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about this fight, and a lot of them have been trying to say that it's almost a foregone conclusion that Anthony Joshua is going to beat Daniel Dubois pretty easily. But I beg to differ. Right? I don't think it's going to be such an easy fight for Anthony Joshua, as easy as a lot of people are making it out to be. I know I did pick against Anthony Joshua in the Ngannou fight, and I was thoroughly embarrassed, right? I had to hold my hands up and eat my crow. It is what it is, right? But I'm going to say this. If you're going to look at Anthony Joshua's last three opponents, let's go back in reverse. Francis Ngannou, Otto Wallin, Robert Helenius, and even maybe one more than that. Let's go back Jermaine Franklin. If we look at all the level of opponents that Anthony Joshua fought, would Daniel Dubois beat those guys? Right, we're not trying to create a triangle theory here. So I just thought I'd let you know before anyone starts thinking that. Would Daniel Dubois beat Jermaine Franklin? I think it's possible Daniel Dubois could get a win over Franklin. It'd be a tough fight for him, but I think he could do it. Could he beat Robert Helenius? I believe he could beat Helenius. I believe he could stop Helenius. Could he beat Otto Wallin? Otto Wallin's last couple of performances, I would say Daniel Dubois would beat Wallin as well. Francis Ngannou, yes, I do believe Daniel Dubois would beat Francis Ngannou. Right? Boxing, the two different sports, boxing, MMA. Daniel Dubois being he's a seasoned fighter now. He's been fighting for a long time. First recognized when he was about 21. We first heard about Daniel Dubois when he was 21. He's 25 now. Maybe even younger than that. Maybe he was even younger than that. I can't even remember. But let's just say this: Anthony Joshua's last few opponents, I don't believe any of them have been as live as Daniel Dubois. Right? The last loss that Anthony Joshua suffered was 2 back-to-back losses to Alexander Usyk, who he went 12 rounds with. And Daniel Dubois was stopped over in the mid to late rounds. Was it 7, 8? Was it? He got stopped. Well, got stopped with a jab, which was pretty significant, being stopped with a jab. I felt like he could have continued on a bit more, but he felt not. So it is what it is. And then, people started talking about the quitting, because he quit against Joe Joyce a good few years back. Those talks started to come back into the play. Daniel Dubois seemed like he didn't want it. He's got to really bite on his gum shield and get down, get gritty and try and tough these fights out and not quit, win, lose or draw. But then Daniel Dubois faced Gerard Big Baby Miller in Riyadh season Day of Reckoning, and he performed with an 11th round stoppage of Gerard Big Baby Miller, who had never lost before. Obviously, never undefeated fighter. It is what it is. He's still undefeated. So Daniel Dubois is taking O's right now because he then went on to fight Filip Hrgovic, a fight where many people felt like Daniel Dubois would fall short. Many people felt like Hrgovic could probably make him quit. Many people felt like Hrgovic was a bit out of Daniel's league. And I backed Dubois for that fight. I said, no, I think that he's had a newfound confidence. I think, with Don Charles in the corner, his dad coming down to ringside as well to add to the extra encouragement, I think we're seeing something here in young Daniel Dubois. I think we're definitely seeing something here. So, he went over there again in Saudi Arabia and he dug deep. He had to bite on his gum shield for 6 rounds. He looked really shaky, but eventually he came through and he defeated Filip Hrgovic the long-time #1 contender to the IBF belt, that was causing a lot of problems in the heavyweight division because the IBF wanted to strip Alexander Usyk to give Filip Hrgovic a shot. If Usyk couldn't give him a shot, they were going to strip him. You know, they threatened it before. They also stripped J.O. Bitaya when he fought. Who did he fight again? He fought a Day of Reckoning. I can't remember who the guy was. I think it was a guy from the UK as well. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The IBF was strip happy. It's to strip the fighters. So now that Daniel Dubois defeated Filip Hrgovic, this mandatory, I'm not saying it's not going to go away, but at least Daniel Dubois will be a bit more patient because he's fought Usyk before and he lost. So there'll be a bit more patience in there, you know, because Daniel Dubois has now taken Filip Hrgovic's place as the #1 contender in the IBF. I definitely think that Daniel Dubois, well, you know, outside of the AJ fight, I definitely believe Daniel Dubois deserves a title shot, personally. He's had 3 good wins since his loss. Was it 3? No, sorry. He's had 2 good wins since his loss to Usyk. One more, definitely a title shot. If definitely you beat AJ, definitely get a title shot. And as I said, Daniel Dubois is a live dog. And a lot of Anthony Joshua's opponents, the last few opponents, have not been as live as Daniel Dubois has. So I have to look at the fight and work out what's going to happen in the fight and the keys to victory and stuff like that. I'm just going to say this. Anthony Joshua has proven to be vulnerable when his jaw has been tested, right? And I believe Daniel Dubois will test Anthony Joshua's jaw at some point in the fight. I mean, so I said a similar thing about Francis Ngannou, but, you know, we found out painfully, well, I found out painfully that Francis Ngannou just can't live with the top end tier boxers. I mean, when it comes to Fury, I just think it was a great stylistic matchup for Francis Ngannou. I do believe if Francis Ngannou got in there with Fury again, it would be a close fight again, right? But it's just the styles that make fights. I think a lot of other heavyweights would probably wrap up Ngannou just like you know, just like Anthony Joshua did. Especially my favorite heavyweight currently at the moment, Ajit Kabayel, who I want to see get into a position to get some sort of title shot, or, you know, at least a #1 contender elimination fight or something like that. I want to see Kabayel in a good position at the moment. As I said, he's my favorite heavyweight. No fanboying. I just admire the man, the way he's just stepped up. He took on the giant in Aslanbek Makhmudov, and then he, you know, got a win there. And then he took on Frank Sanchez, the Cuban Flash, got a win there. So he's put his name up there. Daniel Dubois, again, versus AJ. AJ's got a decent jab, as does Dubois. AJ got a good right hand, as Dubois has as well. Footwork, I'm going to be a bit, it's a bit even with me. I wouldn't say any of these two guys have got outstanding footwork, but they're both the guys are no slouches. So we should see a good fight here. We're not going to get, hopefully, we're not going to get a situation where one guy's chasing another guy because one guy's running away. Both guys have got quick feet. Both guys like to let their hands go. I personally think this won't go 12 rounds. It won't go 12 rounds. What can I say? I think it's a 50-50 fight. I'm going to say it's a 50-50 fight, personally. Because Daniel Dubois does have the power to trouble AJ. But then AJ's got the experience, and obviously being a former unified champion, he's been a good resume, been in with a lot of top guys. You know, he's had to overcome demons himself when he fought Andy Ruiz over there at MSG, you know, and then got handed his first loss of his career. So he's had to come through some demons as well. He obviously got the rematch and won the rematch, you know, and eventually now he's obviously went back and then obviously fought Kubrat Pulev and then had to fight Usyk, lost his belt, tried to get back at Usyk again, lost another fight. He lost his head over there in Saudi Arabia after that second loss. But then you know what? He's got back on his horse. He signed up with some new trainers. Some of them weren't the right fit. Robert Garcia, Derek James, you know, obviously being over there in the States, in Dallas, Texas. AJ doesn't want to relocate. So he eventually ends up with Ben Davison, former trainer of Tyson Fury, who did some good work with Tyson Fury. And I felt like when these two guys got together, and I was a bit skeptical about it. I'd be like, oh man, it used to be Tyson Fury's trainer, whatever, this, that, whatever. So, you know, again, you know, the little rumors about him being called Boxer-sized Ben and stuff like that. I was like, I wasn't too sure. I wasn't too sure. But you know, after the fight they had, I think it was against what was it against? Wallin, and I was like, wow. Wallin, that was a good fight. AJ performed, and you know, they've seen the partnership between the two guys look like it gelled. So so yeah, anyway, it's a 50-50 fight between these guys. So yeah, I mean, there's not much in it for me. Both guys don't move their head. Both guys got a big right hand, good jabs, half decent footwork. You know, I think both of these guys suffer from similar disadvantages. The confidence sometimes, especially when it gets really hard in there. You know, that moment where you really need to dig deep. We've seen Anthony Joshua, you know, obviously come through the demons. We've seen Daniel Dubois come through his demons, but possibly in this fight, one of these two guys could set it, like, how can I say, how am I going to explain it? Just like these guys have overcome their demons, I think maybe one of these guys could create another scenario where one of these guys gets knocked out badly or hurt, and then, you know, they're going to have to jump back on and rebuild them. So whether it be AJ or whether it be Daniel Dubois. We do know AJ doesn't have much long left in his career. He did say he wants to retire pretty soon. I'm sure a lot of the UK fans will be sad to see AJ retire, but we do have a good few heavyweights on the rise, you know, in the UK. Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark, the Romford, what's his name? The Romford Bull. I forgot his name now. I forgot his name. Crazy, obviously. Dylan White, I think he's finished now, isn't it? He's going to be at the end of his career. Same as Joyce, same as Chisora. We've got a good few heavyweights that are probably going to be retiring in the next year or two, right? But we've got Daniel Dubois, Wardley, Clark, the Romford Bull, Johnny Fisher, that's his name, Johnny Fisher. Who else do we have? Oh yeah, we also have Moses Atuma as well. We have Moses Atuma, also trained under Ben Davison. So the heavyweight division's not done now. You know, we might be having a few retirees soon, OAPs in the heavyweight division. But we've got a good new crop that's coming through, right? So we rest assured, heavyweight boxing is still big business in the UK, and you're going to get people like me talking about the heavyweight division and boxing in the UK and all over international for a bit more to come. Anyway, do us a favor, right? This is a new channel. The old channel got locked off by YouTube. This is a new channel. Make sure you subscribe to this new channel. Hit the bell for the notifications so you can get all the new and the latest videos. Okay? And also, you might see some live streams that pop up in your notifications. Come by and join in the discussion. Thank you very much. Enough said.